Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast.
Welcome to my podcast, where we are going to talk about a lifestyle with dogs and throw in a few life lessons along the way. Whether you're a hound hunter, bird dog enthusiast, running setters, pointers, retrievers, or a flat-out running dog junkie, this podcast is for you. I am your host, Heath Hyatt, a certified law enforcement canine trainer with over 3 decades of personal and professional training and handling experience. It's time for me to pay it forward. So grab your leads, lace up those boots, and come and join me on this lifelong process of teaching, training, and learning. Are you looking to unlock your dog's full potential and give them the best nutrition possible for peak performance? Then look no further. Inukshuk has what you're looking for. Inukshuk's nutrient-dense formulas are crafted to keep your dog's energy high and performance top-notch. Packed with premium proteins and essential fats, Inukshuk delivers the balanced nutrition your dog needs to thrive. From hunting dogs to police canines, Inukshuk is trusted by professionals. Give your dog the power of peak performance with Inukshuk professional dog food. Check, check, check. Mic check. Just getting her tuned in. Let's roll. Welcome back, friends. Another episode of What's Up Wednesday. You know what we're here for, to get our weekly dose of canine training know-how and just catch up on life. So whether you're on your morning drive, you just get some work done around the house, or you're settling in for the evening, sit back, relax, and let's get this episode started. So a lot has went on since I did the last What's Up Wednesday. So 2 weeks ago, man, training around here has been off the chart. I think I use that word a lot too. It's been a lot. So just finished up our week of tactical canine tracking. So we had a class we teach it every spring and every fall over different parts of the state. So we have, team members come in. This year we had an overload of actual dogs. This class is geared more for the protection of the canine and the canine handler. And this year we had several dogs from several different agencies, which we're always glad to have. It kind of brings everybody up to speed on what's going on. So Monday was classroom. We always have the, our friends with the game department come in and they teach a section of this with just visual man tracking. And then we add that into our team element, and that helps the dog and the dog team be more successful. Tuesday, Wednesday is all out in the field. We're learning what we need to know, formations and how to assist and cover and do all the things that we need to do. Wednesday evening, we finished up with some stereos. It was really good. And then yesterday, we do our evening and nighttime section of this class. Because of the wind, we were getting 40-mile-an-hour gusts. We couldn't get a helicopter up, and drones were almost we did get one up for two scenarios, and we actually got one back up during the nighttime tracking. So the wind played a big factor in that. But yeah, I got to do something that I don't get to do a lot of. Is we had a couple of guys bring dogs, as I just said, but they brought their bloodhounds. And though I've never run a bloodhound in my law enforcement career, as you would know, I am a hound guy. I love the hounds. And there are so many similarities between behavior changes and traits and all that goes into the hound part, which is what you and I do, to the bloodhound part of the tracking. And man, it was just a great week. Like I said, I got to watch bloodhounds work. I got to help their handlers with some body language and some behavioral changes that they normally didn't pick up on. And it was just awesome to me. It was an awesome class. We always enjoy teaching it. We always are grateful that we get to bring so many people in and teach a way that we were taught. And I could say a way, not the way, right? So anyway, it was a great week. Got home late last night. And now I'm sitting here debating. I'm looking out the door, I'm looking out my window up to the boat barn, and the wind it's kicking a little bit. I just looked at the weather and it says like 12 to 17 mile an hour winds, which if you guys have been on a boat, you know that wind will kind of push you all over the water. It taxes your trolling motor, especially in the river where there's a current. If you're in a lake, it's going to be a little bit different. But anyway, I'm going to brave it. I'm going. I hadn't got to fish all week. I did get to go last week. One day. Yeah, one day I got to go trout fishing again at one of the local rivers over here by the house. It's tough fishing. Me and one of my buddies from work went, and I caught several fish. I didn't keep any. They were dinks. Man, I don't know what's the game for. I don't know what they're doing stocking these dinks, but they were some dinks. I did catch one decent sized rainbow. The rest of them were smaller, really thin. So I didn't keep any of them, but I fished, I don't know, maybe 4 hours. And I mean, it's just so peaceful being on the creek, catching fish. You know, it wasn't overly crowded, which was a good thing, but we had a really good evening, me and Nate, and you know, we're planning a trip for next week. So I'll tell you all about that one. But you guys that trout fish, I'm going to tell you about my setup, what I use, why I use it, and why I like it. I know everybody each to their own. Of course, I'm a St. Croix man. Like I like my St. Croix, and both of my trout poles. One's a Triumph, and the other one is an Avid. So one's a 6 foot, and one's a 6'6" for the river that I was fishing because it's a little bit wider. I like the 6'6" because it gives me a little bit more length on the cast. I am using the 4 pound P line is what I use for the line. And I hate using power bait. I know that's a common thing for trout fishing guys, but I hate using power bait. So I'm a Joe's Fly guy. I like my Joe Flies, and I've got an array and assortment of them. I'll even show you. I'll show you in the video. I just kind of open up my box, show you what I got. So I use a lot of Joe Flies. If they're not working, man, I really, really like the atomic tubes and the atomic teasers. So the tube is just a tube with no tail. The atomic teaser has, and I'll show you that too. The teaser actually is the tube with a tail in it. It seems like the brown trout like the atomic teaser more so. The rainbow like the atomic tubes better. Rainbow, or when I go brook fishing, when I'm fishing for brook trout, I have better luck off my Joe Flies. So, you know, it is what it is. Everything's different, but I always try to use something a little different than everybody else, just to make, give something else to look at. So I've got a whole array of little tips and tricks that I use, and I've learned them. One of the guys the guys I used to fish with, an older gentleman, man, he had every trick in the book, and he could flat out catch some fish. So I've stole a lot of his stuff that he's taught me, and it definitely works. So yeah, there's some of the stuff in my reel. So I'm using a St. Croix pole, P line, 4 pound P line for my line, and my reel again, and I use this even on my river stuff, is the Floger. I mean, I love my Flogers. They are low price point. I mean, you can buy, a 2,500 to 3,500 size reel for $69. My trout reels are smaller, but both of them are Fluger. And all of my well, let me take that back. Even my river stuff, I've got three Flugers that I'm using. I do have a Sedona, Shimano, and I do have a Shimano. What is that one? Starts with an S, and it's a 2500. But the Flugers feel just as good, or if not a little bit smoother. So anyway, that's kind of what my pick is. Everybody picks their own, likes their own. My bait casters are Shimano Corrados. I mean, that's pretty much what I use. And then when I get up to my musky stuff, when I get up my bigger stuff, I do have a couple of Tranxes, Shimano Tranxes. I have a couple of Abu Garcia, and a Ken. So yeah, and my musky pole. We'll get into that later. We don't need to talk about that now. But yeah, that's what I do when I'm trout fishing. I love it. I love being out on the creek. You know, I was raised on the creek, and like it's just part of me. I love being out there and love the challenge. So anyway, oh man, the pups, y'all. You know, we talk about Miles, the big brother, and the twins, which is Abby and JoJo. I do not like that name. After 2 weeks of doing it, I do not like it. So the book I open on name picks for her, I still cannot find a name that suits her. Like I just cannot place it. And I really like to name my dogs after, you know, behaviors or like physical qualities or attributes. Like I like to name my dogs after that, but yeah, I'm back in limbo with her. And then we got little Iz, the wonder dog. So, gosh, where do I even start with these guys? Miles, we'll go with Miles. So, I made it a point that every time I let him out, I've got the collar on him, the e-collar. I don't have a tracking collar. I'm just using my Dogtra 1900s, what I'm using for him, because it's got a very, very, very strong vibration. You've heard me talk about that. I like to start my dogs off there, than I do right off of the get-go with electric. So my neighbor went up through the driveway one day, and I'm like, I hear him coming, so I'm already on it. I get the remote out, it's in my hand, and I see Miles's ears. You know, even he's a floppy-eared dog, those ears kind of point up, and he turns that head, and I know, right, I'm gonna get him. So I go ahead and I tap, 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 and it buzzes, and he's like, oh, what is that? The truck comes up where he can physically see it. Tap, tap, tap. Now I'm just vibrating. That's it. Nothing else. And he's like, what is going on here? What is going on here? And then the truck goes past and goes up the hill. And I'm like, good boy. And as soon as he looks at me and says, I'm not sure what was going on, but as soon as he comes to me, man, I reach down and I get a handful of kibble, and I feed him out of my hand. I pet him up, and we go on about our business. Guys, it took one time. But one thing I was thinking about while this was going on is your timing has to be right. I got him when he was thinking about it, not not doing it, or not into the motion of doing it. Like as soon as he perks his ears up and he's like, oh yeah, here it comes. Like he's anticipating this. He already knows what he's going to, he's going to take off. I'm getting him and I'm shutting that down. So timing is very important. You've got to do it in the moment, not when they get started, because if he'd have took off running, he would have probably fought through the vibration. So that is very important. Timing is very important. So I kept it on him. I mean, I've had it on him permanently for every time I let him out. And I'm still doing him and Abby are actually getting pretty good at it. When I'm leaving the dog lots at the bottom of the hill and I'm coming back towards the house to put the food and stuff up, I'll whistle for them and they'll come flying. And when they do, I start walking and I'm still reaching down to my side with a handful of kibble. And when they come up, man, I just open my hand in a cup, in a cup shape. You can see it in the video. I hold, I'm holding it like this. And anyway, I'm just letting them eat as I walk, eat as I walk, eat as I walk. And that's going to really help me as far as, when we get into putting a lot of lead pressure on them. So still continuing to do that, making some progress. Now, JoJo don't want anything to do with that. She has kind of went through a phase. She was coming and doing really well, and now she's kind of being standoffish again. I've had to actually go catch her 2 or 3 times and just I pick her up and carry her back to the pen. Like, I don't want to drag her. I don't want her fighting the lead or the lead pressure. So I'm just kind of taking my time and working through that very patiently, to say. And then when I put her up, she doesn't get rewarded. If I have to go get her, nope, that's on you, girl. Everybody else is getting rewarded when they get in the pen. So she's been hit or miss for the last 2 weeks. Couple days she'll run in the pen and all about it. And when she comes in the pen, I literally do the same thing. I hold my hand out with some food in it. I let her have it. I drop a few kibbles on the ground, just to keep them occupied while I go out, so I'm not having to fight the great escape, right? And I have transitioned. Now I'm behind. Like I said, Miles is 8 months old, so I'm way behind. I'm 4 months behind on him, as far as feeding them in the truck. So I need to start hauling these dogs around. I need to start getting them out and changing their environment. And I'm behind. So last week, I started putting the food pan up in the truck. I've got a couple pallets that I actually laid down, and then I have a tote that I flipped upside down so they can actually walk up on the pallets, walk up the tote, and then literally it's like 10 inches to get up on the truck. It's nothing major. So I did that for the first time last week. Miles actually got up on the tote and went straight to the truck. I'll add that video. Yeah, I'll add that video to this. And Abby fooled around for a few minutes. JoJo would get up on the pallets, put her feet up on the tailgate, stick her head in, but she never would commit to jumping up. And I give her, she to work, I'm probably 4 or 5, probably 5 days in of doing that out of 2 weeks. She's still yet to jump in the truck. So I'm having to be very patient with her. I'm giving her every opportunity to make that happen. Actually, one day after Miles and Abby got through eating, I put them up and I actually fed her on top of the tote, which is literally, just over her neck high. So I'm having to be extremely patient and giving with her because I typically don't like that. She's not really making it. Even Izzy's tried numerous times to get up on the tailgate. She's just 2 inches from it. So anyway, the second day that I did this in the bed of the truck, so I'm putting my pan out, kind of between the fender wells, so they can't just stand up on the tailgate and reach it. So I'm just putting it right out of reach. They're having to go get it. I'll set the food on the tailgate, and when they recognize it's there and they know, hey, here's my food, I'm sliding it back, okay? So the second day, Miles got up in the truck pretty quick, and he was eating, and I don't know what I was doing. I was looking for the other dogs or something. Well, Abby actually jumped up on the stuff, got up, and she got into the truck. And I noticed that she didn't go straight to the food. She made a big circle around him. And I'm like, huh, okay. It just caught my attention. Like, instead of going straight to the food, which is normally what they do. Well, she come in from behind him and he snapped at her. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. We are not doing this. I have not seen that behavior out of him one time. Never. And they get fed together all the time. So I wasn't expecting it, so I didn't get to correct it immediately. We talk about that timing. So my next day that I did this, and I may have skipped a day or so, I can't remember exactly the chronological order that all this happened, but it was the second day that I put him up there that he did this. The next time that I fed them, I held him back. And let Abby get up there first. He went straight in, no issues. All right. So I'm trying to work this out of my head. Like, okay, so her being there doesn't affect him. Him being there first is he's resource guarding, right? So it's mine. But if you're already there, it's no big deal. I'm gonna go get mine. Right? That's kind of what I'm thinking in my head. So the next day, fourth day, I let him up and I'm ready. Like I'm setting him up. Like I'm prepared. I've got all my ducks in a row. I am going to take care of this behavior immediately. Immediately. And I put her up and he literally rolls his eyes sideways. He didn't bark. He didn't growl. He didn't attempt to go after her. But his eyes were big and he was following her. Pop, pop, pop. And I did stem this time. I did not use vibrate. I stemmed. So this is his first time being stemmed. He doesn't even know what it is, but it was on a low. It was low, very tolerable. So he braces himself. Like, what's going on here? What's going on here? Abby comes up and she starts eating. He relaxes. He's still not sure what's going on. And then he goes back to eating, but he's very cautious at this point. He's not sure what took place here. So the fifth day, I do the same thing. I put him up. I get him there. I put her up. She goes straight to the food. No issues. He didn't even roll those eyes. Now, do I know that I'm going to have to go back and do some maintenance work on this? Absolutely. I know that this is something I need to pay attention to, and I'm not going to let it get any further than what it did that day. Like I said, 8 months, never seen it. Never seen it before. Just that one time. And I'm not going to let that one time happen again. So taking care of some problems down the road now, and I will take my time. I'll do my due diligence to make sure that I've got this worked out, that it's not going to happen. So I've done, like I said, I've done five days. Maybe I've done 6. I don't know. I know 5 for sure that I've done this. Today, this evening, I'm going to go back and do the same thing. And I may actually switch a scenario up. I may actually let Abby get up and him go back just to see his behavior. But when I'm setting these scenarios up, like I'm making sure that I can correct it if it happens. And literally, I stood there the whole time. I stood back against the house, 10 foot away, 15 foot away, the whole time, and stood there and watched. And I had the remote in my hand ready to respond. Okay. Any type of behavior change that I got that I took as any type of aggression, like I said, them big eyes and looking sideways, if you've been around dogs long enough, that's the precursor for a snap, right? Precursor for a snap. So just shut it down. Timing is so important. So I'll do it again this evening. We've got tournaments this weekend, so I'm going to be out of town again, back in Tennessee. I've pretty much decided if I ever leave Virginia, I'm probably just moving to Tennessee. I'll be down there a whole lot more. But so working on that. Next week, I will change things up a little bit, make it a little bit different, just to change their thought process. Once they get comfortable doing it, throw in something else and make them work for it. So I'll work on that. I have not tied them out. Oh, I'm still, and let's go back to the feeding. When I whistle for the dogs or I holler for them and they come flying to me, I just take a handful and just, kind of chuck it out on the ground. And listen, the ground's dry. It's not muddy and I'm not throwing it in the mud and, where everything's bad. I mean, it's just a, handful of kibble. Never seen this behavior. Never seen it. Popped out of nowhere. So anyway, I'm going to stay on it. Izzy, let's talk about Iz for a little bit. Izzy, she's still a little turd. She's just full of herself, man. And I told Richie the other day that I was a little concerned about her being overly gritty. Like she's the smallest one in the bunch, and she don't take nothing off no one. Like she's playing. She gets rough when she plays, and I've had to get on her 2 or 3 times. But again, let's talk about stuff. Stopping stuff now eliminates problems later on. So, in fact, I put her up a time or 2 when the other dogs are doing something, and she's wanting to play, and she's grabbing them by the neck or the back of the ears, wanting to play, and they're trying to avoid her. Pino which is my police dog. I've had him out, day before yesterday, Tuesday. I had him out. She was out. I let him out to use the bathroom before we went to train, and she was out, and she was running around trying to grab his tail and grab his hindquarters. And I'm like, Izzy, you do not want to do that. Like, do not do that. So I clap my hands and make her go on. And she's like, what are you doing, Dad? Why are you doing this? I'm just trying to play. Vice, she gets where she understands. He sent her a message or two, like, leave me alone. She was actually grabbing his tail and holding on at one point in time, and he didn't think too highly of that. So, that's like, it's been a couple weeks. We've got a lot of different little sessions in. Like I said, nothing 5-10 minute sessions in. I want to go back to the tracking class and the bloodhounds, and how much, like, it amazes me. Like, one of the handlers asked me at one point, he was like, you ever run a bloodhound? I'm like, no. And he goes, well, how do you know this? And I'm like, because I've been watching hounds for 30 plus years. And he's like, I don't think he comprehended. And then later on, he says, you've been doing this a long time. And I'm like, yeah, I have. But, dog behavior is dog behavior. And like I said, hounds are kind of my thing, right? And I can watch your dog and know pretty much. I can tell you what he's trying to tell you through his behavior because of watching my dogs for that long. So it was good training. I enjoyed it. The guys enjoyed it, and I want a bloodhound. Like, I really want to run a bloodhound. Like, I guess I've always wanted to run one in my career just because of the hound part of me. I've never been able to, and I'm not going to be able to because, man, I'm on the downhill swing of this. So that's kind of it. We've had a lot going on, and the next couple of weeks I hope to do more of it. Hopefully we can kind of update you on what's going on and just kind of keep you aware, keep you in the loop of our day-to-day stuff. So thank you guys for listening to What's Up Wednesday. Are you looking to have your dog transported to be kept safe, clean, comfortable? Then the ultimate hound transportation experience is with Muddy River. At Muddy River Transport, we understand that your dog's comfort and safety come first. That's why we offer premium dog hauling services that go above and beyond. Why choose us? We use ozone sterilization after every run. We use an advanced ozone machine to thoroughly disinfect and sanitize our van after each journey. This ensures that your dog travels in a clean, hygienic, and safe environment. Top-of-the-line comfort. Our spacious, climate-controlled van is equipped with comfortable, secure spaces designed to keep your dog relaxed and safe during transport. Professional and experienced drivers. Our friendly, trained drivers are passionate about dogs and dedicated to ensuring your dog's journey is smooth and stress-free. Communication is key. Count on us for route updates, dog check-ins, and projected times. We respect your time and your dog's needs. For a stress-free, safe, hygienic transport experience, book today and give your dog the best ride of their life. We believe our customers' dogs deserve to be treated like we would treat our own. We aren't just dog haulers. We are active houndsmen. When not on the road, we are hunting our own hounds. Travel safe, travel clean, travel comfortable. Every trip, every time with Muddy River Transport. Contact us on Facebook at Muddy River Transport Group or call 1-402-274-7558. Do you like to be outdoors like I do? If so, unlock the wilderness with onX Maps. It is your ultimate guide to exploring, hunting, and conquering the great outdoors. With detailed maps, real-time tracking, and exclusive access to public and private lands, onX Maps is your key to adventure. Discover the possibilities and never get lost again with onX. So subscribe today using the promo code K920. Letter K, number 9, 20, and know where you stand.